Voldemort's death in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows marked the end of an era. Some fans can't help but wonder if he is truly gone. Given his obsession with immortality and all those Horcruxes, it's hard to believe he'd go down so permanently, and, if I say so myself, so easily. Plus, if you take the books into account, you'll realize that his death was far different from the one shown in the books. One gives us a dramatic, almost poetic finale that mirrors the chaos of his life, while the other shows us a surprisingly quiet, unceremonious end that feels almost too simple for someone as feared as he was. So, what's the real version? And could there be more to Voldemort's fate than we were shown? Join us as we dig into all these questions as we try to make sense of these seemingly nonsensical, and maybe even land on a conclusion that's as surprising to us as it might be to the wizarding world itself. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you never miss out on another magical mystery like this one. Alright, Voldemort's death in the movies screamed of a painful yet final moment for the Dark Wizard. During the Battle of Hogwarts, Harry and Voldemort were understandably at each other's throats and were basically ready to channel all their inner spite for each other in that one duel. They were throwing sly remarks at each other and were basically ready to sacrifice it all for this one moment. The showdown everything had been building up to. Then, the major duel actually started, and sparks of red and green erupted into the air. The battle between the two was fairly brief in the movies, but it was far from understated. It carried a level of intensity and dramatics to the scene that gave it the respect that it deserved. The stakes definitely matched the significance of their confrontation, and the movie showed it well. As soon as Harry disarmed Voldemort, the Dark Wizard slowly crumbled and turned into something that looked like ashes. Soon, he was spotted drifting off into the wind, and that basically marked an end to his existence on Earth. Yet again, although the scene was visually pleasing, it attracted a lot of controversy from the viewers. According to some fans, the death scene needed to have something else to really give it that final battle vibe. Thankfully, the scene after the duel, where Harry went inside to let everyone know of the outcome, was far more emotionally charged and left a much deeper impact. Adaptations from book to film often involve drastic changes. We've seen that from history now, but Voldemort's death was a pivotal moment not only in the entire series, but the entire industry. He was responsible for countless horrors, having killed for his own gain, and was altogether a sick, ruthless, unforgiving wizard who deserved everything that came his way. While the books depicted a deeper lesson for the masses, the films chose to focus on the drama, and I can't say that I blame them for that. In the Harry Potter books, Voldemort's death was painted in a different light. He died like any other mortal human being, which was insanely poetic considering how his entire life's work was dependent on his running away from it. It simply proved the fleeting fragility of mortality and showed that death is inevitable no matter how much you try to escape it. As Harry and Voldemort set foot into the courtyard, the duel started. Harry shouted Expelliarmus, and Voldemort sent the killing curse flying at Harry. The two spells collided, and then something happened out of the ordinary. Voldemort's killing curse rebounded and killed him instead. The Elder Wand in Voldemort's hand refused to kill its true owner and flipped into the air to fall into Harry's hands. And that, folks, was that. Really. Before Voldemort could even absorb the shock of all the drama, he died. His lifeless body hit the floor, his hands turned white, and he went down like a mortal corpse. Epically mundane is what I'd like to call his demise. In the Harry Potter books, there's a concept of the afterlife. When Harry walked into the Forbidden Forest, knowing very well that he had to die in order to kill the Horcrux inside of him, he was terrified. Yet he marched on straight to Voldemort without even thinking of drawing his wand and presented himself as a pig for slaughter. Voldemort couldn't have been more ecstatic at the sight of Harry coming to join him. Without wasting a single minute, he shouted the killing curse and put an end to Harry's life then and there. At least, that's what he thought he was doing. Harry then woke up in the white hallway that was later found to be the King's Cross Purgatory. Apparently, it was the bridge between life and death. He met with Dumbledore, who told him that he had a choice. He could get on the train and be taken on into the afterlife, or he could go back. Harry, being Harry, chose to come back and save the world. Classic. But before his conversation happened, Harry saw a ugly fetus lying in the corner. Dumbledore suspected it was a piece of Voldemort that had died. And this is where it got interesting. If we go back to the 6th book, The Half-Blood Prince, you'll remember what Dumbledore told Harry about Horcruxes. He said that the act of murder was a crime so terrible that it left a lasting impact on the soul of the wizard. To kill another human is such a horrendous act that it rips apart the soul of the wizard physically. The person who's trying to create a Horcrux hops onto the sweet little chance and takes advantage of this abomination. By performing a set of dark spells, the wizard takes a fragment from the soul and stores it into a physical vessel to help him try to fight death. Dumbledore then went ahead and explained the fate of such an evil act. He claimed that a fractured soul, as of the one who makes Horcruxes, will always be in doom. There needs to be an intact soul for it to pass into the afterlife. Voldemort didn't create one Horcrux, he had created 6. And then went on to make another one accidentally in the form of Harry Potter. But having 6 Horcruxes means that you have a soul beyond repair. He had fractured his soul so many times that it could not possibly go on into the afterlife. So when he died in the Deathly Hallows during his final battle with Harry, the Dark Wizard suffered a fate worse than death. While his body remained intact as a corpse, his soul would forever be stuck in that King's Cross purgatory, or whatever it is for him. There would be no peace for Voldemort's soul, only eternal pain and suffering. There was one way that Voldemort could have avoided all of this drama and saved his soul if he had shown true remorse over his sinister acts while he was alive, selflessly. Even then, we can't say for sure if there was a chance for peace for someone like him. During the Battle of Hogwarts, Harry knew that Voldemort was about to die. He gave the Dark Wizard a chance to show remorse. He even warned him that he had seen what Voldemort would be otherwise. Unfortunately, the Dark Wizard wasn't physically capable of being remorseful. He couldn't fathom what Harry was trying to say at the moment and ended up dying in the place that he called home. This makes you wonder, did Voldemort accept his death in his final moments? Think about it. All 6 of his Horcruxes had been destroyed, and Voldemort knew. All he had was his fractured soul and his tired body to fight this long battle with Harry. He must have thought he was gonna die, right? But my theory is that Voldemort was too ruthless and ambitious to even think about death. Even in his final moments, one Horcrux might have been a risk. It might or might not have made him immortal. That's why he jumped to making 7, a magical number with better odds. I believe Voldemort was confident during his battle with Harry that the power of his Horcruxes would save him. He must have believed that they made him truly immortal, that they rendered him forever protected by the eternal magic of the 7. Obviously, Voldemort never realized his mistake. In the end, he suffered a fate that was far worse than that death. Voldemort's death marked more than just the end of a sinister villain. Like most of the things in the Harry Potter series, Voldemort's death had meaning too. The Dark Lord was seen as this vile yet ambitious wizard who would go through every means necessary to outsmart death. His unhealthy obsession with immortality pushed him to commit terrifying acts of evil and destroy his own humanity voluntarily. Even in the current landscape of the world, losing your own humanity is something people are scared to do. However, in the end, it was all for nothing. Not even his precious Horcruxes could save him from the inevitable. It was also how his death was portrayed in the books that added more meaning to the story. For someone who feared dying and was regarded as the untouchable powerful wizard, dying a mortal death was the greatest defeat he could suffer, and to have the world witness that was the worst form of insult he could have ever been put through. The books made his fears come true by giving him a much more humbling death, where he simply fell to the ground like any other mortal. This was clearly intentional by Rowling. She wanted to show that despite all the power and the fear he had in the wizarding community, he was still human. Even though he tried to push the boundaries of immortality, he was not an immortal being. His death wasn't even epic or dramatic as much as he would have liked it. It was human. and incredibly grounding for the Dark Lord. The irony here is not lost on anyone. Most people compare his death with Harry's potential death and find interesting contrasts between the two. Harry did not fear death. When he looked into the pensive and saw his fate, he accepted it without any question. He calmly walked into the battlefield and presented his head for slaughter. People believe that this signature Gryffindor courage is precisely the reason that he survived. As for Voldemort, that moment never came. He walked straight into the thing he was trying to run from. Many think that it wasn't the killing curse that put an end to Voldemort's life, it was his inability to be remorseful and his lack of understanding of what mattered more in life. Ultimately, though, all we can say is karma is real and being humble will always take you places. As always, stay curious, stay magical, and don't forget to subscribe for more Wizarding World deep dives, and I'll catch you next time.